Live Tuesday at 8/7 Central on ABC and Disney+.
Upsets abound in the first couple of weeks of the season. Not safe to be in the AP poll. First time 1 and 2 lost this quickly. And then some movement bringing South Carolina up to the top spot. The Pac-12, what a great start for them. 28-0 before one of their teams lost. They've got 5 right now in the top 10. But wait, we're not done yet, Carolyn. It continued in week 2.
Week 2, then Iowa went down to Kansas State, and then Baylor knocked off number 4 Utah.
All kinds of insanity.
Do you want to be in the top 10 or not? It's danger zone up there.
8 of the preseason top 10 lost. 11 of the top 15 lost. There's Utah falling to Baylor. And Kansas State, for the second week in a row, beats Iowa. And those 8 of 10 in the preseason, that's the most in over 10 years. So we saw a lot of parity in the postseason last year. Remember, Stanford was one of the number 1 seeds knocked out before the Sweet 16.
Like AP voters, got to be careful in that first poll coming out after the transfer portal. You got injured players coming back. You got to be like a weatherman.
Yeah.
Willing to be wrong.
We've had, in the last 5 years, 12 different schools reach the Final Four with 5 different national champions.
I love the parity. I love it.
Fabulous.
I talked to Brenda Freeze when I did the South Carolina-Maryland game, and she said, this is like having March in November.
Yeah.
I tell you, it's great for women's basketball because everybody gets a little taste of what to look for throughout the season.
Yeah, got some good women's games coming up this week. And early December, triple headers on December 3rd and again on December 10th for you. Got the ACC-SEC Challenge coming up at the end of November. Duke trying to find its footing. As Kara Lawson says, this is a young team in an old girls game.
Yeah, but Delaney Thomas has shown us a lot early on. The pull-up jumper there, finding her spot.
Very often has not missed yet. 5 for 5 from the floor, 2 for 2 from the line.
Okay, Ariaffin is a hybrid for me. She's a little bit of a Chene, a little bit of Nneka, and a little bit of Asia Wilson.
Oh.
You look at her base. They're strong from the waist down, and she's not afraid to play low, and she's quick off the floor.
Little Stanford, South Carolina cross-pollination there from Coach Peck. That is very good company to be in. Mayer able to hit the shot. The transfer from Boston College.
She was made the all-freshman ACC team at Boston College. She's a good pickup at that point position. She's a scoring threat, can open up the floor.
Polo misses. She scored 16 in the game against Team USA. They've already faced the U.S. national team. Here's Kiki.
I love that jab move and then step by the defense. And how quick she is off the floor.
Well-deserved rest for her. She's got a dozen. Outscoring Duke right now.
She's perfect. 5 for 5 from the floor.
And a cable into the ball game now for Duke. The skip pass to Thomas. Little short. And that's going to be Stanford ball. Hey, the 3rd annual Bad Boy Mowers women's battle for Atlantis continues. Ole Miss, we know, is into the final. They await Michigan or South Dakota. That's at noon Eastern tomorrow on ESPN.
It's like a homecoming for Ole Miss's coach, Gillette McPhee. She's from the Bahamas, as well as her player, Rima Collins, playing in front of the home crowd.
They were out here having themselves a good time last year in the NCAA tournament. Knocked out the Cardinal in a stunner. Another program that's up and coming and learning to deal with the weight of expectation.
And there's no shortage of post-game for the Cardinal. Nunu Margera. And when you watch Tara Vanderveer's face when you speak of this woman, she just lights up.
Yeah, she is. That is not the body of a freshman right there. From the same high school, by the way, as UConn's Paige Beckers. She's played USA basketball, All-American status. And I'll tell you what, this front line is going to be a problem for opponents throughout the season.
It's a freshman averaging double figures in the first 4 games. Watch how Cameron Brink just surveys that paint, looking at when it's her opportunity to be right there, blocking shots.
And the next evolution for Cameron is blocking shots without committing fouls. That's been a real emphasis for her. She wanted a touch right there.
In that Indiana game, she got a block shot, brought it in transition, and got the assist, kick out for the 3.
They got her isolated. Facing up, 15-footer. That's it.
She's so good off the elbow, right there in that pinch post area. So many options.
Reagan Richardson off the bounce. The spin. And Brink with the rebound and a grunt to go with it.
You heard that.
Jump. Step back 3. Got it.
I mean, that's just pro style, off the elbow. Got a post that's a threat with a 3-point shooter that can take the handoff.
7-0 run. Insbo with the offensive stick back.
Now Duke's got to work on how can they get a stop and then put back-to-back stops together.
Entry pass is picked off. 2-on-1 break. Brink coming back to try and get there. Duke will get another chance. There. No. Inspo offensive rebound. Kara Lawson's going to love the effort.
Inspo was moved into the starting lineup the last couple of games. And I believe it's because of that, her ability to get to the glass, create those second opportunities.
Grad student from Yale, where she was all Ivy League. Here comes the double. Brink spins to the middle, got it. Looking for the and 1, no whistle. Cameron Brink now 7 points in 7 minutes. And Mayer beats the buzzer to end the quarter.
Cameron Brink has done a little bit of everything on the defensive end. Look, this is one of the best defensive players in the country. And then working off the post, the jumper from the pinch post, just hard to guard. That's a unicorn for Stanford. Hey, what's Duke going to do with that?
And we'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
If we want a more viable future for our kids, we need to find more sustainable ways of doing things. America's plastic makers are investing billions of dollars in new technologies and creating plastic products that are more recyclable, durable, and dependable. Our goal is a cleaner, healthier planet for generations to come. For a better tomorrow, we're focused on making plastics better today.
Focus, determination, drive. Some say we're born with it. And some say it lies within Jennifer's purse at Carousel 3. Liquid IV powder delivers rapid hydration with 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink to help you play defense against the world's coolest offense. Because real life is extreme enough. Liquid IV, real hydrating. Now it's sugar-free.
Whatever you do the holidays, do it together in the Chevy that's right for you. The strong and capable Chevy Silverado, the award-winning Chevy Equinox, or the all-new Chevy Trax. This holiday season, do more together in a new Chevy. Or current qualified lessees can get this Equinox for around $199 a month. Or get 1.9% financing on all 2024 Equinox models.
We are Grocery Outlet and we are your Bargain Bliss Market. What is Bargain Bliss? You know that feeling you get when you find the name brands you love but for way, way less? That's Bargain Bliss. This Thanksgiving, we're giving you even more reasons to celebrate. We are offering you $21 off a Jenny O frozen turkey with in-store discount. That's as low as 50 cents a pound. So why wait? Hurry into your neighborhood grocery outlet today, because this deal is only available while supplies last.
Grocery Outlet, Bargain Market.
Because you deserve better days. ABC 7, building a better Bay Area.
The conference chaos around the Pac-12. Of course, 12 members not so long ago, and then things started to change. Summer of 2022. Here's a look at our game summary. 65% shooting for Stanford, 38% for Duke. Kiki's perfect so far on 5 of 5 shooting, and Cameron Brink 7 points in 7 minutes for her.
Just the big score, Stanford. That's a combination of 8 of 9 from the floor. That's pretty impressive.
That's good. And they have the lead over the Blue Devils as we open up this second quarter, 30-17. Beth Bowen and Carolyn Peck-Ritchie here at Maples Pavilion. Cardinal have jumped up to number 6 in the country. Oh, and a big block inside on Brink. And it's Jayden Donovan.
Yeah, that's that freshman I was telling you about. She's only 6 feet tall, but she's got tremendous ups, timing. That's what I mean, being that Swiss Army knife. Looked like Brink was open, but Donovan comes over and gets it up top.
Just into the ballgame for the Blue Devils, and has an impact. The number 3 recruit in the country. And we've seen freshmen around the nation stepping right into huge roles already this year at places like LSU and South Carolina and Notre Dame.
Oh, Hannah Hidalgo. She is a show.
Juju Watkins at USC.
Oh, that's another
number
one.
1
Absolutely.
in this year's class. Malaysia Fawiley is already lighting up the internet in South Carolina. 30 points allowed in a first quarter. That's the second most allowed ever in the 4 years under Kara Lawson. Stanford efficient. We were talking pregame, Carolyn. This looks like a team that is already in February or early March, not November.
The way they looked against Indiana, they just got pretty much whatever they wanted against a pretty good. Indiana's a great defensive team.
Nice pick and the pop. 6 points now for Expo. As Duke starts to settle in a little bit. Ghana assisted by Iriathan. For this young Duke team, this is their first big road test against a quality opponent. Kara Lawson was very excited to see how they would respond.
She understands how young this team is. She said she's only has one player on the team that she has coached for a year. So each year, with new players coming in, she's having to teach her system from the ground level.
Yeah, the only experienced player she had coming back, Vanessa De Jesus, out with a knee injury over the summer. Here's Brink. Posting up on the youngster, and a foul going to be called on Donovan.
Her Mari Vanderveer uses a little bit of the triangle offense, and there, the cut off the post there. You got to decide, are you going to stop the cutter? Are you going to go behind? And if you don't, the rotation is there. And it's really tough to help when the ball is in the middle of the floor. Stanford also runs some options off that Princeton offense as well.
Hannah jump, knocking down another triple. She had 3 threes in the first 3 games, and now she's got 3 here in the first half today.
You got to know where the shooters are, and especially when the shooter takes the ball out from underneath out of bounds. She's the most dangerous person on the floor.
Well executed by the Cardinal. Hannah is number 3 in the country amongst active players in three-point percentage, and a healthy Hannah sometime early next year will become the top 3-point shooter in Stanford history. And a reminder about the All-State Maui Invitational, and the lineup is loaded, and it starts Monday. Oh, the orange. Oh, the orange with Syracuse and Tennessee opening things up at 2:30 Eastern on the Deuce. Are you Cuse orange or are you big orange?
That was going to be my question for you. But that's 6 teams that are ranked in the top 25 in that tournament.
Kansas, Purdue, Marquette, UCLA, Gonzaga's there. All games can be found on the ESPN family of networks. And if you're like Carolyn and I, and you love some hoops, you love some football, what a week ahead. Get the PJs on, the slippers, and sit on that couch and watch hoops all day while you're getting ready for Thanksgiving.
Don't forget the nachos. You got to have a little snack while the games are going on. But they had stoppage of play because the 5th player had not come on the floor for Duke. You need all 5 out there.
Especially today.
Well, and against Stanford, if you could sneak in the 6 with nobody looking.
Still talking with Brenda Pendoa, along with Alicia Murray and Teresa Turner, our officials today. And now we have 5-on-5.
See, Duke is switching, and so Apollo is down low against Thomas. That's a mismatch. But they don't find her.
Ashland Jackson will try for 3 and knock it down. Her first bucket.
Is that not a great basketball name?
Awesome name.
Ashland Jackson.
Sounds just like Action Jackson.
There you go. I've been keeping track of Lapolo's hockey assist. What is that? That's the pass that leads to the pass that leads to the score. She has 4 of those in this game already.
Duke defense forces the turnover, and then Brink gets in a passing lane.
Cameron Brink hadn't announced whether or not she's coming out for the draft. She could come back for another year, but I think she's pro-ready, and I think that she is pro-valuable.
Yes.
Because of her versatility, the energy, the passion, and her skill set. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, she and turnover there for Duke. She and Caitlin Clark at Iowa, who has announced publicly she is playing this year as if it would be her last in Iowa City. As we are almost out of the extra COVID years.
I don't know how to act when that's all.
No more super seniors. And super duper seniors in some instances. Erie often had that one blocked out of bounds.
The pressure defense, and knowing that you've got Kennedy Brown back there to take away, to protect the basket. That's how Duke has been able to be successful last year, that full court pressure.
The top scoring defense in the country last year, 50 points per game. They were so close to winning the ACC regular season championship. Lost to the Tar Heels on that final day of the regular season. It only intensified that rivalry.
That's what you want.
Yeah.
Right there in the triangle.
Notre Dame snuck in there and grabbed the top spot. And then they had a lot of folks that moved on, lost 7 players, including their top 2 to the portal. And then Kara Lawson and her staff brought in this really good freshman class. They've got another good class coming in next year. Of course, it's all about retention nowadays, and it's all about who you can bring in the portal that can help right away.
Well, you've got to demonstrate a system where players want to stay and play in, and where they can see that their game can mature and get better. I like this group of freshmen that Kara Lawson's brought in. She was, I think the future's bright. She's got a couple of post players coming in next year that'll go well with what's already started.
5 on the shot clock. Very often, another one blocked. These are 2 of the top shot blocking teams in the country, and that's going to be a shot clock violation.
Well, Delaney Thomas has held her own, really trying to slow down Ari Offen inside and showing no fear. These freshmen, they got a lot of confidence.
They average 7 blocks per game. Keeping her in front. Deep 3 ball. And Kiki able to tip it to herself.
But 3 bigs in the game now. Aguero, the freshman. Then you have Cameron Brink posting down low and getting it done.
Cameron Brink, 9 points for her. She and Ari Offen are 7 for 11 now, and she gets the block. Stanford on top. There's your Star Watch. Kiki and Cameron and Hannah getting it done. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball on ABC is presented by Lowe's. Lowe's knows home improvement.
UMGC gave me the ability to succeed again. They allowed me to understand my true potential in life and gave me the tools to go get it. I feel I can accomplish anything.
Learn more at umgc.edu.
What do you mean the connecting rooms were not confirmed?
Exactly, not confirmed.
We need people to see our kids.
Oh, you'll be able to see them.
When you want your kids in a room that's actually connecting, it matters where you stay. Hilton for the stay.
Hey, everybody, let's take a picture.
Wow.
Get the new Google Pixel 8 or Pixel 8 Pro on T-Mobile. That's up to $1,000 in value.
At Stanford, pursuing your passions unlocks your potential to develop solutions for a sustainable future and inspire people through music, to deliver affordable, personalized healthcare and star on the stage, to build the next generation of rockets and reach new heights, to gain the knowledge to contribute to the world around you. Stanford University.
Every Thanksgiving has a bird. A surprise guest. And some things that don't go as planned. No! Disney's Wish. Rated PG. Only in theaters Wednesday.
Coming up at your halftime report with Rebecca Lobo and myself, Elle Duncan. NC State upsets UConn a week ago. Now they're on upset alert. We've got highlights. We'll look at some phenomenal freshmen, and we'll give you the latest on Angel Reese's curious absence from LSU. Stanford in firm control of this one.
I mean, they just have incredible balance. They're dominating in the paint. They're making shots from 3. I don't know what to do with them.
Yeah, well, hopefully Kara Lawson has more answers than that. We'll see you at the halftime report. For now, we get it back out to Beth and CP.
Thank you very much, ladies. Well, the domination inside showing right now for Stanford and Cameron Brink.
On the post players for Stanford doing your work early, and you see Ariafa get posted up, and before the defense can get back, early position. You look at Cameron Brink working down low, and this is what I love about the post game. If the guards throw it to you, they give you that second effort to go catch it. It is their responsibility. Once the guard releases the basketball to the post player, even if you got to come out of your positioning, you snatch that basketball.
That duo inside is now 9 of 13, 21 points and 7 rebounds here in the first half.
But they're big right now. Nunu Aguirre's on the floor as well. Another post player that can go inside, play inside and out. That's just tough.
Turnovers piling up for Duke. They had 19 the other day in their loss to Davidson, and now 6 here in the first half. They'll throw some full court pressure at the Card. DePolo, the sophomore from Alameda, California, will handle that.
Her experience last season as a freshman, start every game, has really paid off. She is in command on the floor.
O'Hara can't muscle that one up. Out to Brink for 3.
Duke wants to play with pace, but the transition defense for Stanford has been stifling.
And the Blue Devils so far not able to get much of anything off the dribble penetration.
That was a focus to keep your person in front from Tara Vanderveer, and they've done a great job.
They're forcing a lot of those. And a foul is going to be called down the floor. Emspo is getting after it on the glass.
Tara Vanderveer is going to argue that one for Cameron Brink. I don't know.
That's her second.
Brink was in front.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that...
You can't be over the back if you're in the front.
So Cameron will sit perhaps for the final 3.5 minutes here. Mayer knocked loose by DePolo. 5 on the shot clock. And they'll try another 3 and knock it down. 3 for 9 now from deep.
Mayer can shoot it. We also have Aluchi Kanwa, who can be a threat. Cable can shoot it for Duke.
Ariafa step foot on a foul. And that'll be on Emsbo, the first. Stanford 5 of 6 at the line here in the first half. Kiki's 2 for 2.
Double figures, 12 points in this first half.
She had a double-double, 20 and 11 against Indiana. She opened up the year with career highs against Hawaii, 23 points and 13 rebounds.
She had to make the announcement, I'm here. She came into her junior season with a big step.
Well, you can see already that they don't care who's scoring, as long as somebody's scoring and they're winning.
They are having fun. Yep. They are unselfish. And Steph Curry told them to be stars in your role.
Well, now they're starting to warm up from downtown. That's Kanawa. Yeah, Steph is one of their neighbors here in Northern California, and he is a good family friend of Cameron Brink's. Steph's parents and Cameron's parents were ballers together at Virginia Tech. Arlucci missed the land.
That's the MG Spark plug that Carol Lawson just raves about.
Ariafa so quick with the first step. Emsbo able to bother. Kanawa thought about it. Thomas Well, she'll pass up the three and go off the bounce and count it. I like the decision by the freshman there. Yes, she could have taken the three, but she saw the lane, so she can get 3 points the old-fashioned way. She sees it, she's open, she finds the lane and goes straight at LaPolo. NBA continuation. There you go. Get the high percentage shot first. They have been down by as many as 17, and look at this scoreboard. They're within 7. Under 2 minutes to go. Making a little push here without breaking the ball game. Good response by the youngsters. And then Hannah jump. Drains a deep three. Deep is an understatement. That was like Caitlin Clark almost logo three. That was from Atherton. Yeah, I love the composure of Duke, this young team. They have not panicked. They have not given in. You know, even after a three-point shot like this, you have Hannah jump. Look how far behind the three-point line she is. She knocks that down. Oh, yeah. They're feeling it. They, I think, feel it in the water that Stanford has something real special going on with this team this year. So she's got more three-pointers in this first half than she had her first 3 games, which also speaks to their balance. They haven't necessarily needed it. 5 on the shot clock for the Blue Devils, and a giveaway. It's number 7. Not afraid to use a lot of rotation, and you got to with how they want to play with pace, the amount of energy that it takes and demands from you defensively. Very often fouled before the shot, and the hold on Ensbo, and that is her first. Stanford is so good with their post feeds. Players catch it. Yeah, you look for your shot first, but there's also an eye in the paint, and these players know how to deliver the basketball inside. And there's a discipline to that, right, Carolyn? Because you know, if their plan is to play inside out, if I'm a guard, I'm going to get the ball back. Right, on occasion. Yeah. But you got to know when to use the pocket pass, that bounce pass, or to throw it up over the defense. You just don't want to get caught in the middle. And they have done such a good job of that. They've assisted on 11 of their 15 buckets. Open 3 in transition for Duke. Those are the ones they want to capitalize on. Look who got the rebound. Oh, nice pass from Alucci. Alucci at 5'8". Over 7 rebounds a game. 9 points for Thomas coming in off the bench. That's freshman to freshman right there. And Thomas was getting handsy in the lane with Kiki. Alucci gets the rebound and then finds a cutting Delaney Thomas. That's a heads-up play. Quick thinking on the freshman. The lane opens up a little bit with Brink out of the ball game right now with 2 fouls. Yeah, same thing here, okay? Yeah, I wonder how many of these players on this Stanford team think about, this could be my last year to play with Cameron Brink. Got to make the most of it. You can't take anything for granted. We're out for 15 points now and 5 rebounds in this first half. Hannah jump with 12. The only double-digit scores. About 3 seconds the difference. Shot and game clock here for Duke to close out the first half. Duke going to run this stagger screen into a high-low action. Well, they missed Thomas open inside, but no worries from there. Gets the shot. Good if it goes. Dimitri knows. Halftime at Maples Pavilion. Stanford 43, Duke 35. Iriafen with 15, Brink with 9 and 2 blocks, and Hannah Jump with 4 triples. The number 6 team in all the land taking care of business in the first half, 43-33. And now it's time for an ABC News special report.
I have a lot of confidence in myself, but I think what really got me through the game was, Kiki in my ear the whole night telling me, you got this. When we embraced after the game, just huge, immense amount of pride for Kiki, and I get all that confidence from them.
A great balance that Stanford has. You talked about the improvement of Arioff at number 44 inside. Great 1-2 punch in the front court. Kiki, what can she not do?
Arioff and Kessler mischief. 5 for 5 from the floor, 2 for 2 from the line.
Watch how Cameron Brink just surveys that paint, looking at when it's her opportunity to be right there, blocking shots. Cameron Brink posted down low and getting it done. She just has demonstrated how valuable she is to this team in white. Arioff is a hybrid for me. She's a little bit of a Chene, a little bit of Nneka, and a little bit of Asia Wilson.
Brink immediately, Stanford gets her a touch inside. Muscles down on the block for the bucket to tie it up.
Stanford women's basketball halftime report from Carson Trail and Aaron Yee. Stanford leading 43-35 at the halfway mark against Duke University. Taking a look at some of the key statistics. Kiki Arioff, 15 points for the home starting 5. Hannah Jump with 12, all on three-pointers. Cameron Brink with 9, on the verge of another double-digit game. She also has 3 rebounds and a couple of blocks. So a very well-rounded approach. Arioff continues to blossom and become this star talent that everybody was hoping that she'd be for Stanford this year.
And it's really been a breakout season for her. Last season, as a sophomore, she averaged only 6.7 points per game. And this year, already in this game, she has 15 points. She's really been an offensive and defensive threat and is able to get the ball to the net in really any situation, getting her own rebounds, as we've seen throughout this game. So she's been vital to this team. Same with Hannah Jump, the fifth-year senior, who's the program's all-time leading scorer in three-pointers. And we've seen that today with 4 today out of 12 points. So Stanford has been doing really well scoring and was also playing a very clean game, staying out of foul trouble, and towards just about the very end of that second quarter.
For the Blue Devils, Taina Mayer with 11 points, Delaney Thomas with 10. Those two have set the pace. Camilla Emsbo with 4 rebounds, all on offense. And those have translated into points that have really cut this deficit down. Stanford dominated the first portion of this game, and Duke made some adjustments, especially in terms of rebounding the basketball. And they've closed what was once a wide rebounding gap. And now it's 17 rebounds to 15. Stanford's still in front, but I think Duke has out-rebounded them for some time here in the past quarter or so.
Absolutely. They've cut their lead down to just 8 points. And as you mentioned, towards the end of that second quarter, Carson, they might be trying this new strategy of really staying on Kiki Arioff, who is obviously leading Stanford right now. And if they're able to get her in trouble, that will make a huge difference looking forward into the second half of the game.
Yeah, they've been double teaming her more. They have been a lot stingier with the matchups. There were times in which you could get a favorable switch on pass inside, and all of a sudden your offense pretty much clear to go downhill and finish. That has not been the case in the recent minutes of this game.
Rebecca Lobo already going. Is Tay-Tay going to be there? We don't know, but we are
My
here.
daughters care.
Everybody cares. Welcome in. It is Feast Week. I'm Elle Duncan. She is Rebecca Lobo as we get you set halftime right here of this Stanford-Duke game. What are you seeing so far? Stanford in full control, and things got a little bit tighter there towards the halftime end, but what did you see in the first half?
Well, they built themselves a nice cushion by scoring 30 points in the first quarter, and Kiki Arioff has been absolutely outstanding. This is a player a season ago averaged just under 7 points and under 4 rebounds a game. Well, what does she do? A little bit of everything. Here she is on the floor. She just continues to work. She's coming. She's posting up, even though she doesn't get the basketball. Look how mobile she is, active she is. Well, what is it going to result in? An offensive board. Her feet keep moving constantly. Here, able to put it back in on the offensive rebound. Here, there's going to be a steal. This is Iriafen right here. Watch her run the floor as soon as her teammate corrals the basketball. Sprinting, moving, working. She gets a great pass from Cameron Brink. Double team, doesn't hit it the first time. Goes back up with the offensive rebound again. This one's going to be a little bit different. Here she is again. Just watch. She's going to get pushed off the block. What happens when she does? We'll pause it right here when she catches the basketball. Look at the space between her and the basket, a fair amount. What does she do? Reverse pivot, faces up, and hits the jumper. It's really difficult to defend a player, especially a post player, who is as active as Iriafen was in that first half.
I just mentioned this is tightened up a little bit. It's an 8-point game, so if you're Duke right now, if you're Kara Lawson, what are you telling your team at the half?
Continue to get on the offensive glass. That's what Duke did really well in that second quarter. They're going to have to continue to try to limit Stanford in the paint, get out to them on the three-point line, but on the offensive end, continue to get.
Presented by Lowe's. Impressive in the first quarter for the Stanford Cardinal. Duke made a nice little run, though, in that second quarter, and we got ourselves a ball game with the second half coming up. Courtside with Beth Mullins and Carolyn Peck, and as anticipated, the front line play for Stanford really the difference.
Well, and what Rebecca Lobo talked about was Kiki Iriafen and how good she was inside. And we have a couple of plays that will demonstrate why she is so open. Look how she gets down low. Now, the majority of the defenders, or the offense for Stanford, is above that free throw line, that lower, no longer defensive box, and that allows Kiki Iriafen to have room to get isolated one-on-one, and I love how she does her work early. Post up, and the rotation is there late because they're so spread out. Her activity, her quickness off the floor. Rebecca Lobo talked about how she's run the floor, offensive rebounds, and even when you push her off the block, there has been no stopping of Kiki.
Elle Duncan and I know guards win championships, and you and Lobo are pushing this front line play agenda today.
Listen, you don't get an assist if the big girls don't finish.
Oh, we got a good one.
This is going to be Mayer driving it down for the Blue Devils. Mayer guarded by LaPola, passes it back to 42 Brown. Brown makes the shot, but misses, goes off the backboard. Boscana hands it over to LaPola, who again brings it down for the Cardinal. LaPola to jump to Boscana at the top of the key, looking for someone to give it to, gives it to Iriafen, who passes it over to Brink. Brink now getting double teamed, passes high to Iriafen, who gets it in. That's 2 points for Kiki Iriafen in the paint.
Ball almost wedged loose there. Nice job by Iriafen of holding on to the basketball and finishing.
Number 24 on Duke makes a shot, Richardson, but it misses. She rebounds it, passes it over to Mayer. Mayer guarded by LaPolo. Backs up, tries to drive in, passes it over to Emsbo. Emsbo guarded by Brink. Drops it back to Richardson, who makes a shot, misses, rebounded by Iriafen. Iriafen passes to LaPolo, makes a cross court over to Boscana, passes to Brink. Brink inside the paint, passes it back to Jump, who goes for three, and it spirals off the net. That's going to be Richardson bringing it over to Duke, passes it across court to number three to Mayer, who makes a shot, misses, rebounded by Brink. A little bit of floundering there, but Brink is the one who brings it back over to the other side of the court. Makes a layup attempt, but
offensive foul.
Players helping Brink up on the court. That's Stanford's first foul.
Interesting. Brink tried to take it all herself. She had Elena Boscana open to her left.
She did. Looked like she just wanted to take that herself, had the confidence. Unfortunately, despite the tough finish, ends up getting fouled. It's taken off the court. It's going to be Mayer who drives the ball down for Duke. Mayer to number 3, Jackson. Jackson back to Mayer, and the whistle is blown.
Might have been on LaPolo there.
It is on Talana LaPolo, her second foul of the game. And Mayer is going to have the ball guarded by LaPolo. Mayer passes it in to Richardson, who makes an air ball Recovered by Jump, who gives it to Lopolo, bringing it down. Lopolo back to Jump. Jump driving in. Gives it to Nunu Agara, who goes for 3. That's going to bounce off. And Jump gets the rebound. Hands it back to Lopolo, keeping this drive alive. Lopolo to Brooke Dimitri, who's checked into the game for Cameron Brink. Hand a jump to Kiki Iriafen. Iriafen to the paint, finishes. And that's another easy 2 points for Kiki Iriafen.
When she's downhill, she's borderline unstoppable.
It's going to be Mayer, who has the ball again for Duke. Mayer driving inside, gives it to Emsbo. Emsbo, who goes for the easy 2 points there. Iriafen to Dimitri. Dimitri passing it to Lopolo. Lopolo bringing it down the court. She gives it to Nunu Agara, traveling around now at the top of the key, passes it in to Kiki Iriafen. Iriafen back to Lopolo. Lopolo going down, guarded by Emsbo, double teamed by Mayer there. And then Kiki Iriafen with the ball now, goes for the floater, bounces off the rim. Mayer again for Duke, guarded by Dimitri. Looking for someone to pass to. No one to pass to. And that's going to be a Stanford ball.
I don't know if it's Stanford. Yeah, it's Duke ball passed, knocked out of bounds.
So the ball will stay with Mayer. Mayer passes to Richardson. And it looks like that's going to be a missed foul. A foul on Nunu Agara, her first of the game, which brings Richardson to the free throw line. Courtney Ogden checking in for Stanford. A couple substitutions being made on Duke's end as well.
3 team fouls for Stanford here in this third quarter.
Richardson now at the line. Misses her first. She gets a second. She makes her second. So Duke is now. Courtney Ogden passes the ball to Hannah Jump, who gives it to Talana Lopolo. Lopolo back to Jump. Jump back to Lopolo. Lopolo for 3. It's no good, but it's rebounded by number 4 on Duke, Donovan. Donovan driving it all by herself, goes inside for the layup, and that's 2 points.
Coast to coast for Donovan. I believe that cuts the lead down to 7.
It does. Brooke Dimitri to Talana Lopolo. Lopolo back to Dimitri. Back to Lopolo, who's going to drive it down the court for the Cardinal. Courtney Ogden and Dimitri both nearby. Lopolo to Ogden, the freshman. Ogden looking for someone to pass it to. Gives it to Iriafen. Iriafen back to Lopolo. Lopolo considering what to do. Attempts to pass to Iriafen, gets it to her. Iriafen now double teamed. And the whistle is blown. That's going to be a foul on Duke. Not sure which player. Two fouls.
No, 22.
Oh, 22. So it's going to be on Mayer, her second of the game. Hannah Jump gives it to Talana Lopolo. Lopolo to Dimitri. Dimitri passes it inwards to Iriafen. Iriafen now in the paint. And that's going to be a foul. That foul is called on number 21, Emsbo, the graduate transfer. And Kiki Iriafen is again at the free throw line for Stanford.
And Emsbo has been their most effective big, despite not being their tallest. She's 6'5", Kennedy Brown is 6'6", but Emsbo has been more effective in cleaning offensive rebounds especially. And she's the matchup that Duke wants against Iriafen, who goes to the free throw line again.
Previously, we saw her covering Cameron Brink pretty effectively, so that makes sense. Kiki Iriafen makes her first free throw. Now going for her second. Makes her second as well. Stanford back up by 9 as Duke number 3 Jackson is dribbling it down the court, guarded by Lopolo. Jackson to number 4 Donovan. Donovan driving in, tries to make the shot, bounces off, rebounded by Dimitri. but seems like there was a foul on that play as well. And the crowd is not happy with that call. So that ball is going from Mayer to Emsbo. Emsbo to Donovan. Donovan driving in. Makes the shot, goes high. Spirals off the rim. Courtney Ogden with the steal, and there's some commotion on the court. So Brooke Dimitri now has the ball. Foul on number 4, Donovan. Her third, and the team's third.
Yeah, Jaden Donovan upset on that call. Pounded the hardwood in disgust.
And some substitutions being made. Janiyah Harriel, the freshman, subbing in for Courtney Ogden. Brooke Dimitri passes to number 13, Chloe Clardy, also a freshman who subbed in for the Cardinal. Clardy getting double teamed here, passes back to Dimitri. Dimitri back to Clardy. Clardy looking for someone to pass to. Pointing some directions. Decides to take it herself, gives it to Hannah Jump. Passes inwards to Kiki Iriafen. Tries to go for it, but it ends up getting recovered by Duke. Mayer now driving it down.
And Emsbo almost got stepped on.
And that'll be 3 points for Jackson. Score is now 49-43 with 4 minutes, 50 seconds left in this third quarter. Chloe Clardy now with the ball for the Cardinal. Clardy tries to pass it to Iriafen, but it ends up missing. Duke now with the ball. Mayer loses it. Clardy with the steal. Body's on the ground. And
whistling a foul.
That's going to be a foul on Thomas. Duke's 4th foul.
Both teams on the verge of getting into their bonuses here. Timeout on the floor.
So this quarter has been heavy in foul trouble on both ends. Seems like very different kind of game is being played here.
Yeah, a lot more tenacity from both sides, and that's gonna. I think that speaks volumes to the adjustments that both teams have made. We have an exciting finish brewing here. Pause for the media timeout. Back in just a moment. 49-43, Stanford leading in the third quarter of this one over Duke on the KZSU Stanford Student Radio Network.
Back in Maples Pavilion with 4 minutes and 35 seconds left in the third quarter. Stanford leading Duke 49-43 after what was a dominant first quarter where Stanford was leading consistently by double-digit scores, has now had a lead cut down to just 6 by Duke. Both teams here with 4 fouls each, threatening to enter the bonus section as this timeout just about wraps up. Looking to the Stanford side, we've got Brooke Dimitri, Hannah Jump, Kiki Iriafen, and I believe that is number 32, Harriel, checking in for the Cardinal, and freshman Chloe Clardy. There's the buzzer, and it's going to be Dimitri who gets the game started once more. Dimitri being guarded by Thomas. Dimitri to Clardy, who brings the ball down, guarded by Mayer. Clardy drives in, passes back to Dimitri. Dimitri to Jump. Jump looking for someone to pass to. Goes with Harriel. Harriel gives it to Iriafen. Iriafen back to Harriel. Dribbling. Looking for someone to pass to. Gives it back to Clardy, who's at the top of the key. Clardy to Iriafen. Iriafen back to Clardy. Clardy goes for 3, and it's no good. So Duke will bring it back down the court. All the way by herself, number 5 there. Okinawa, the freshman, gets 2 points. And it's going to be number 32, Harriel, who looking for someone to pass to, gives it to Iriafen, who's inside. Iriafen goes for 2. It bounces off the backboard. And Okinawa is now bringing it back down. She passes to Mayer. Mayer to number 12, Thomas. Thomas back to Mayer. Mayer dribbling, considering options to Thomas again. Thomas, who goes for 2 there. No good. Scores 49-45 with 3 minutes left in this third quarter. Clardy dribbling around the top of the court. Gives it to Dimitri, who passes it inwards to Iriafen. Iriafen going for 2, and she gets fouled. So she will be back at the free throw line for Stanford, who is in a scoring drought, hasn't scored in the last 2 minutes and 47 seconds. Now we have an opportunity to end that drought. Nunu Agara checking into the game for the Cardinal.
Yeah, Stanford 1 for 8 in their last 8 field goal attempts. They've made just the one. And it's an interesting play scheme that they've got going on against Iriafen especially. So if you have a guard on the perimeter, they'll typically have one of the bigs and then one of the guards sort of move to a double team.
Yeah, Iriafen makes her first field goal, and you see Emsbo has checked into the game again, as they have selected her to block or defend Iriafen. Makes her second one.
And on that, and as that double team starts closing out, the Stanford guard, whether it's Clardy or whether it's Jump or whomever, they try to float a pass inside to Iriafen. Duke is beginning to wise up to that.
And Cameron Brink is back in the game for the Cardinal. Mayer looking for someone to pass to, defended by Agara. Good defense. Mayer gets it to Thomas. Thomas passes it to Jackson. Jackson guarded by Dimitri. Passes back to Thomas to Mayer. Passes inside to Ensbo, guarded by Brink. Ensbo passes it back to Jackson, who makes 3. And that makes this 51-48.
3-point game.
Hannah Jump with the ball, passes to Cameron Brink. Brink inside, getting double teamed. Tries to pass to Jump. It's missed. So that ball will go to Thomas, who gives it to Mayer. Mayer drops it into Jackson's hands. Jackson to Okinawa. Okinawa passes to Emsbo inside, guarded by Brink. Goes for 2, makes it. And now just a 1-point game with 2 minutes left in this third quarter. Talana Lapolo bringing the ball down for Stanford. Lapolo dribbling, guarded by Mayer, looking for someone to pass to. Going around, guarded. Passes to Dimitri. Dimitri brings it inside. Tries to drop it to Agara. Agara wasn't looking. So now Mayer is going to bring it back down for Duke with an opportunity to take the lead for the first time in this game. It's blocked by Cameron Brink. Brink hits herself in the face, it seems like.
No, I think she was fouled. There was some contact on that.
So that's going to be a foul on.
We'll have to see. I think it was against Ashlyn Jackson, but given that Stanford had possession of the basketball at the time, Brink goes and shoots free throws. They're in the bonus.
And that's good news for Stanford, as they've got an opportunity to extend this lead by a little more. Brink at the free throw line. Makes her first one. And makes her second. And ball goes back to Duke. Jackson bringing it down. Crowd at Maples getting loud in this last minute and a half. Jackson dribbling around, looking for someone to pass it to. Gives it to number 24, Richardson. Richardson gives it to Emsbo. Emsbo passes back to Thomas, who goes for 2. It bounces off, rebounded by Brink. Brink drops it into Lapolo's hands, who will bring it down for Stanford. Lapolo passes back to Brink. Passes it inside to Iriafen. Iriafen goes for 2. It bounces off the rim. And that ball is now in Thomas's hands. Pass to Jackson. Jackson giving it to number 24, Richardson.
Jackson had an open look for a 3, but she didn't take it.
Jackson now with the ball. Guarded by Lapolo, looking for someone to give it to. Goes for 3. It's good. And you have a tied game with 40 seconds left in the third quarter. Lopolo now bringing the ball down for Stanford. Passes to Irioffen. Irioffen drops it to Brink, who loses the ball. Gives it to Jackson. Jackson now with the ball as this clock runs down, guarded by Agara.
Duke trying to take their first lead of the game.
Jackson dribbling, backing up into the corner here. Decides to go in, goes for the shot, misses, and the whistle's blown.
Yeah, so she's going to shoot two. They did not say that the foul was before the shot. So now Duke into the bonus, final 8.3 seconds.
Jackson shooting for two. Makes her first one. Duke takes their lead for the first time in this game. Scores 54-53. Jackson going for her second free throw. That one's good as well. So 8 seconds left in this third quarter. Dimitri passes to Lopolo. Lopolo crossing the court, passes back to Dimitri.
Got to get a shot off here.
Goes for three, and it hits the rim. So that brings us to the end of this third quarter. Stanford now trailing Duke by 2, scores 53-55, as we will take a short break here on KZSU.
Tie game, fourth quarter. Stanford and Duke women's basketball. No, not tie game. Stanford trailing for the first time this game, 55-53. Duke tied it up and went ahead on a couple of free throws to cap off what was just an anemic performance for Stanford on offense in this third quarter. Their field goal percentage down to 43%, 11 turnovers in all. And they haven't made a field goal. They didn't make a field goal for over half of that third quarter. So it has just been a lot of room to improve on offense, just being more consistent, finishing at the rim, and also just creating more opportunities, creating some space.
Those foul troubles and those turnovers ended up being really costly, and you're right, Stanford needs to be able to convert those drives into points if they want to come back in this game after leading very dominantly in that first quarter and also in the second.
Ashlyn Jackson takes the inbound, moseying across half court. She leads the Blue Devils with 14 points. Now going underneath, Richardson, outlet pass here. Now driving to the basket, Jackson left-hand layup off the glass and in. 4-point lead for Duke. Inbound pass to Lopolo with Brink in the backcourt with her. Stanford trying to cash in from the field for the first time in over 30 minutes. In over 6 minutes. Pass knocked away but corralled by Dimitri. Out wide left to jump. Whistling a foul. Off the ball, Emsbo picks up her third personal foul. So that's the first team foul. Emsbo in a bit of foul trouble now. She's been the lead guard against Irioffen and Brink. Brink faces up against her, almost loses her footing. First attempt goes off the front of the rim. Second, the follow falls through. Lead cut back down to 2. Duke moving from left to right, 57-55. The Blue Devils lead at Maples. Their final game, their fourth and final game in 8 days. Part of a road trip. Thomas with the basketball, guarded by Dimitri on the right arc. Ball pass off the foot of Dimitri, whistling a kickball violation. Trying to get a bounce pass inside. Ball rolls out of bounds to the baseline, but the violation, regardless, will be Duke basketball. Richardson will inbound with Jump guarding. She taps the basketball, finds Okinawa on the inbound pass. She goes up and under, rejected by Brink. Brink saves, finds Dimitri. Quick pass to Lopolo. Stanford looking to move fast in transition. Over to Jump. Jump right wing. Finds Agara on the paint. Spinning. Tough finish. Nearly gets a fly ball. Ball taken out of her hands. Whistle and another foul. Agara slowly fell to the ground, but she gets up and is all right. The foul was against Thomas. Second team foul already for Duke. Stanford If they can't cash in from the field, at least work some fouls up. So to cash in from the line, whistle, offensive foul. Before the inbound pass, that was against Agara. Jackson fell to the ground. I don't know how much contact there was, but she got the call from the officials. First team foul for Stanford. Duke now has the basketball, leading by 2, 57-55. Every turnover, change of possession, going to play a role in this one. Okinawa, the dynamic bench presence, outlet pass. Emsbo sets up a screen for pass inside, knocked away. Emsbo corrals it off her hands. Brink saves it though. From Richardson, Lopolo moving the basketball from right to left for Stanford. Hands off to Agara. Agara looking for an open player. Finds Brink. Brink face up on Emsbo. Up and under, gets it to go. Off the glass and in. One of the few times that Brink has beaten Emsbo, and Duke calls a timeout.
Game is once again tied. Score is 57-57 with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Lots of game left and an exciting finish brewing at Maples. We'll pause for a break on the media timeout on the KZSU Stanford Student Radio Network.
I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby.
Final 8 minutes upcoming in this game. Game tied at 57 apiece. Stanford and Duke both with a couple of fouls each way. We'll have to see how those play a factor. Stanford, by and large, has been cold from the field. So from the line, if they're able to get a few extra trips, that could really play a factor toward the tail end of this game. Stanford trying to continue their undefeated start against a 3-1 Duke squad coming off their first loss against Davidson earlier on this week. Stanford, wearing their white jerseys, will take the floor. The 5, Brink, Jump, Agara, Dimitri, and Lopolo. Kiki Iriafen not in the game. She is sitting on the bench, a few seats to the right of head coach Tara Vanderveer, with Helena Bozgana right next to her. Here is Nair. Nair with the basketball, guarded by Dimitri on the high post. Bounce pass outside, Donovan. Hands it to Jackson, back inside. Donovan goes for the layup, blocked by Brink. Agara has she has the rebound, but she landed out of bounds. Donovan, after the rejection by Brink, another block for Cameron Brink. That's her 5th. As Dimitri inbounds, fires a chest-high pass to Brink. Brink back to her. Backcourt press still from Duke, trying to force a mistake. Lopolo in some trouble, crosses the half-court line finally. 57-57, Stanford moving from right to left. Slips it to Agara. Agara, low pass to the right hip of Lopolo. Back up top, jump, catches, three-pointer, jackpot! 60-57, Hannah Jump from downtown again.
That was exactly what Stanford needed.
And Stanford's turned this cold streak on its head into a 7-0 run over the last 2 minutes. They've made 3 in a row from the floor. Jackson with the basketball, the leading scorer for the Blue Devils, pulls up, back to the free throw line, rejected again by Brink. Her 6th block. Lopolo, the rebound, shovels to Dimitri, and Stanford takes possession again. Trying to go on a run here, final 7 minutes upcoming. 60-57, Stanford lead. Bounce pass inside, jump, goes for the basket, rejected. Rebound, ball on the deck, bodies on the floor, but Duke has the basketball. Mayer with it, shovels inside. Donovan for the layup, no good. It's too strong off the glass. Agara the rebound. Stanford moving from right to left. Trying to string together a rally. She goes coast to coast for the layup. It is off her knee after the rejection, and Duke will get it back. A big block as Agara tried to go coast to coast. I do believe it was by Jaden Donovan. Donovan standing an even 6 feet. Manages to stuff Agara, trying to go for a pivotal layup. Stanford up 60-57, still a 3-point lead on a 7-0 run. Duke trying to change that. Mayer with the basketball. Taina Mayer at the top of the key. Loose guardage from Agara. Slips it inside, going up and underneath. Richardson, too strong, layup off the glass, rebound jump. Now Lopolo hands it off to Agara. Back to Lopolo on the right wing. Whistle and a foul off the ball against Duke. Kennedy Brown, the 6'6" center from Darby, Kansas, transferred from Oregon State, unhappy. There's a reason why she's kind of been the B option for guardage against Brink and against Iriafe. We'll have to see if Stanford elects to bring both of them in at one time, and at what point they do decide to do that. 60-57. Inbound pass to Cameron Brink on the left wing. Now catch and shoot three from Dimitri off the front of the rim. Hits off the glass. Rebound Duke the other way for Okinawa. Nair with it. Out to Okinawa in the corner. Who's guarded from Lopolo. Back to Nair. Up top. Way up top to Jackson. 16 to shoot. She's got time off a screen. Agara guarding. Lofts a pass at wide right to Donovan. Donovan spinning underneath the rim. Goes up and under. Rebound off the rim. No good. Trickles down to Dimitri. Dimitri right to left for Stanford. Bounce pass to Jump. Jump offloads to Lopolo up top. Waiting for the play to develop. Pass right rotation. Brink wide open. Gets the layup off the glass and in. Nice find from the Stanford offense, getting Brink exposed underneath. And they lead by 5, 62-57.
Duke in a scoring drought for the past 4 minutes.
Nair guarding point, finds Jackson on the right side. Jackson shake and bake. She's been hot from three. Bounce pass inside Donovan. Donovan gets to Emsbo. Emsbo, second hash mark, whistling a foul. It looked like Brink got a piece of the basketball, but not all ball in the eyes of the referee. She'll check out for Iriafen. That's her fourth personal foul, so understandable is why Tara Vanderveer would be a bit more conservative. 5:11 to go in the fourth quarter, still tons of time left. You cannot afford to have Cameron Brink foul out. So Iriafen checks in underneath the left block as Emsbo will shoot a pair. Trying to cut the lead down to 3 for the Blue Devils. Stanford's rebounding has been better this quarter. Emsbo, a large part of the rebounding game for the Blue Devils early this game. First shot up, kisses the back of the iron and falls through. Some animosity from the Stanford fans here. Emsbo's second shot, little hitch in her free throw motion, but she gets that to fall. Inbound pass to Jump, kind of trapped in her own right corner. Bounce pass to Dimitri. Now Lopolo in some trouble being harassed. Whistling a foul on Okinawa. So on the reach-in for Okinawa, that's the fourth team foul for Duke. So Dimitri will inbound from the far sideline, trying to find either Agara or Lopolo. More backcourt pressure, including Thomas guarding the inbound pass. Lopolo has it on Stanford's free throw line. Creeping her way across half court, guarded by, and it looked like a possible flop from Mayer, who acted like she got decked. Jump catches three-pointer off the front of the rim. Rebound knocked away, and bodies crashing on the ground that went out of bounds on Stanford. The only question is there a foul? Yes, a foul on Iriafen. Timeout on the floor. We're going to pause for a break. Stanford up 3, 62-59 here in the fourth quarter. Final 4:50 to go. And we'll be right back with you on the KZSU Stanford Student Radio Network. Final 4:50 to go at Maples Pavilion, 62-59. Stanford with a three-point lead, trying to continue their undefeated start after winning the first three, coming off a victory against Cal Poly. They really kind of walked through the Mustangs early on this week. This game against the Blue Devils, much less of a picnic. After starting out with a 14-2 run, that lead had been cut down and even taken away from them by the Blue Devils. And now with 4:50 to go, Stanford clinging to a three-point margin.
And this has definitely been the closest contest that Stanford have had to face so far this season. Every other team they've beaten by double digits or more.
And the defense has been fantastic the past 5 minutes or so. Duke has missed 6 straight field goals. Cameron Brink no longer on the floor right now due to foul trouble. But she had a couple of key rejections. Iriafen is there in her stead. The other four on the floor, Lopolo, Jump, Agara in some foul trouble of her own. and Brooke Dimitri. Duke moving the basketball from left to right. Mayer has it just inside half court, loose guarded from Lopolo. Pass left to Richardson. Richardson hands it off on the wing. Okinawa rotates to Nair up top. Mayer step back from the top of the key. Two-pointer off the front of the rim. Rebound Iriafen. Iriafen pump fakes a pass, still with backcourt pressure. Gets it to Lopolo. She'll jog across the half-court line, finds Agara. Up top to jump pass inside to Iriafen with Emsbo guarding, dribbling with the left hand, bullying her way to the basket, floater off the back of the rim and good. Excellent job by Iriafen. She's got 23, 25 after that one. And now Mayer with it. Stanford trying to pull away up by 5, 64-59. Final 4 minutes. Duke running out of time to make something happen. Emsbo up top, one dribble, hands it to Richardson. Off a screen, left wing jumper on the elbow. Skimming off the rim. Rebound Okinawa goes up and underneath and she's fouled. That's going to be on Agara, her 4th personal foul, sending Okinawa to the line shooting 2. We talk about Okinawa being one of the most dynamic ACC presences off the bench. Only got 5 points today, 2 for 7 from the floor, including a 3-ball. But a chance to cut into that margin and still contribute from the line. A 5-point lead for Stanford. 2 made 3 free throws here would cut it to 3. Bending at the knees, Okinawa, first shot up, off the front of the rim, misses. Naples Pavilion, a raucous crowd, second shot up, and a perfect make, 1 for 2 trip as Dimitri inbounds from Stanford's baseline. She gets it to Agara. Agara, high arcing overhead pass, back to Dimitri. Just getting it across, double team, in some trouble, finds Lopolo. Lopolo gets it across half court. Plenty of time on the shot clock as she slips it to Hannah Jump. Jump, calling out with her right hand, dribbling with her left. Right pass to Lopolo. Lopolo dribbling up top, orbiting the arc, just inside of it, hands it to Agara. Agara with Mayer on her. Elbows out, almost contact there. 2 on the shot clock. Agara, long 3-pointer, rejected, shot clock violation. A piece of that one on the shot in desperation by Nunu Agara. It was rejected, and ultimately it was moot regardless if it had been blocked or not. Bounce pass outside, Jackson up top, Okinawa, overhead pass, Jackson on the right wing, catches, 3-pointer, buried. A huge 3-pointer cuts the lead down to 1, 64-63. Stanford needing to expand upon that cushion again. That's the first free throw, or the first field goal that Duke has made in their past 9 attempts, whistle, and a timeout. Again, Ashlyn Jackson, 19 points, including 5 3-pointers. A couple of steals to her name as well. Stanford up 64-63. Final 3 minutes from Maples Pavilion when we come back on the KZSU Stanford Student Radio Network.
Redwoods League works to preserve the stately coast redwoods and giant sequoias that are a part of California's heritage. Together with the state, private foundations, public service organizations, and individuals, the League has helped preserve more than 165,000 acres of ancient redwood forest. If you'd like to help out or donate, visit www.savetheredwoods.org, or you can call 888-836-0005.
Hi, I'm Jawan, sports announcer for KZSU, and I can't wait for springtime on the farm because that means it's time for baseball. As you know, Stanford baseball has recently made 2 trips to the College World Series, and this year, Coach David has a squad of big-time batters and powerful pitchers.
Inbound pass from Brink. Lopolo up top, finds inside. Brink, left-hand layup off the glass and in. A big finish from Cameron Brink. She's back on the floor despite being in some foul trouble. Mayer with off a screen, dribbling right outside Thomas. Thomas catch and shoot 3 off the backboard, off the rim. Okinawa with a rebound. She trying to get it underneath. A desperation heave off balance off the glass. Knocked around. Rebound Stanford. Jump came down with it. Now Lopolo's got it. A 3-point lead, 2:21 to go and counting. Pass inside, intended for Uriaf and picked off. Here comes Duke from left to right. Thomas with the big steal. Now Jackson, 3-pointer, got it. Ashlyn Jackson. 6 3-pointer ties the game at 66 apiece. Final 2 minutes. Lopolo the basketball, left-hand dribble, slips it to Dimitri, up top, jumps 3-pointer, off the heel, rebound, goes right into the hands of Brown. Brown to Nair, here comes Duke in transition. They're going to slow things down, wide open 3 for Okinawa, buckets. And Duke has taken a 3-point lead. All of a sudden, Duke has heated up, a 6-0 run, capitalized on those 2 3-pointers. Whistle and a timeout called by Stanford. 69-66, Duke leading, 1:35 to go in the game. And man, what have you got to do to shut Jackson down?
She's really come alive in the second half. 22 points and really just unstoppable from that three-point arc. And Stanford is going to really want to do something here. They have 1 minute and 35 seconds left on the clock.
And they've just not been able to close out on Jackson.
It's been all Jackson for the past 9 points have all been Jackson. No, Okinawa had 3 points, but between the two of them, it's been difficult to stop, and Stanford has got to do something as the buzzer has just gone off. Cameron Brink.
Here's the inbound, almost going to the back court by Cameron Brink. Lopolo has it just inside the halfway line. Marin coverage again. It is now Dimitri. Dimitri trying to get outside on her pivot, finds Agara. Agara spinning, kicking it out to Dimitri. Dimitri catches her 3-pointer, got it! Quick Dimitri from downtown. Tie game at 69. Here comes Duke. Left to right. Mara has it just with her heels on the logo. Taking her time, final minute. Finds Jackson. Who else with Agara on her? Emsbo, Jackson picks up a dribble, has to get it off to Mare. Mare up top, cycles right. Jackson again, now with Brink on her, their best defender. Side step right, pass inside, going for the layup, off the glass and in. They had Brink on Jackson. That left an open lane underneath for Thomas. Here is Lopolo handing it off to Agara. Back to Lopolo. 71-69 whistle. And possibly a timeout. We're going to have to see. Yes, it was. Tara Vanderveer calls timeout again. Stanford trailing by 2. They were able to capitalize with a 3-ball off the timeout last time around. We'll stay with you here. 39 and a tenth of a second remaining. Stanford down by 2.
Stanford looking to slow down this clock if they can. 40 seconds left in this game.
Do you try for a 3, or are you content with the 2 and possibly sending this one to overtime?
It's a good question. You have strong three-point shooters on this team. You have Hannah Jump, Brooke Dimitri. It is possible that they can make a 3 and end this, but do you think that's what they're going to do?
I think that they're going to go for the basket and then try to go for a 2-for-1. If they can have a solid stand against Duke, if they can get a score and then a stop, you still get the ball back, and with the timeout left, you can call it and then try to orchestrate something up to send us to overtime or to win it. Dimitri to inbound from the near sideline. All 4 of 5 starters on the floor. The one not on is Ziri Offen. It is Agara, Jump, Dimitri to inbound, Brink, and Lopolo. And now Duke calls a timeout. So that's anticlimactic. So 2 straight timeouts called, 1 by each team. We're going to pause for a short break for this one. 71-69, Duke leading, 39.1 to go in the game on the KZSU Stanford Student Radio Network.
Most days go by without a whole lot of surprises. But what if a disaster strikes without warning? What if life as you know it has completely turned on its head? Would you be prepared? Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed. Learn how at www.ready.gov.
Dimitri to inbound from the near sideline again. Here's the inbound pass, not there yet. Gets it outside to Lopolo with Mare on her. Lopolo dribbling right, bounce pass Agara. Agara beyond the paint beyond the arc, right wing, whistle on some contact inside. Brink wanted a foul, but instead Dimitri has it. 9 to shoot. Stanford trailing by 2. Do they go for the 3? Running out of time. Pass knocked away. Whistle and a foul. That's the 5th foul, and that'll send Brink to the line. We talked about free throws possibly adding up in this game with some early team fouls for both sides, and now Brink has a chance to tie it. Iriofan checks in. Dimitri checks out. To me, you got to make the free throws, but if you miss it, you'll want to have your best rebounds on the board. Rebounders out there.
Some substitutions being made here before Cameron Brink goes to the charity stripe. Wiping her hands.
Cameron Brink, 19 points today. Iriofan has set the tone for the Cardinal with 25 and then Jump with 15. A deep breath. First shot up and nothing but net for Cameron Brink, the projected top 3 draft pick in the WNBA this year. Chloe Clardy checks in. Second shot up and good to tie the game. 21.8 to go. Timeout Duke. 71-71. We'll pause for another brief intermission, and we'll have to see what the Blue Devils and their head coach Cara Lawson try to cook up when we come back. This is basketball on the KZSU Stanford Student Radio Network.
11 a.m. Stanford's historic Memorial Church hosts University Public Worship. University Public Worship is a weekly ecumenical observance that's open to the entire Stanford community. You may attend in person and experience the service led by Reverend Dr. Sakina Young Skaggs, Senior Associate Dean and Pastor of Memorial Church. Also, many other guest speakers. You will be treated to the glorious music from the organs of Stanford Memorial Church. You can experience the program right here on 90.1 FM, KZSU Stanford, and online at kzsu.stanford.edu. That's every Sunday morning at 11 a.m., University Public Worship on 90.1 FM, and online at kzsu.stanford.edu.
The fourth quarter timepiece reads 21.8 seconds. The scoreboard reads 71 apiece. Mayer to inbound it for the Blue Devils on the near sideline, trying to find Okinawa, instead Jackson. She has been the engine of this Duke offense today. Upwards of 20 points, 22, including 6 of 8 from downtown. 10 seconds. She's going to try to take the final shot. She's got an open look for 3. Off the heel, rebound, loose on the floor. Iriofan's got it, whistle and a foul. And that is huge. 1.8 seconds ago. Did they call a foul or was it a timeout? If Duke fouls, that would have sent her to the line. So I do believe that Tara Vanderveer took her final timeout. 1.8 to go. My goodness. Do you try to draw off the ball contact? Or I think Duke, what they're going to try to do is just contest the shot and don't foul. Whatever you do, don't foul.
Whatever you do, do not foul.
This was a very similar situation to Stanford against South Carolina last year. The final couple of seconds of the fourth quarter, they had a little bit of time left on the clock and a timeout remaining. They took it, and what they tried to do was float an inbound pass to Cameron Brink, who would just tip it up and in. I'm sure Duke has done their homework and watched their film, so they'll very likely have Camilla Emsbo and possibly even Kennedy Brown in the game to prevent that from happening. Your alternative is a quick pass to Jump, who could sink the dagger with a three-pointer. Jump was not in the game when the timeout was called, and we will see if they decide to have her as the assassin. Jump has made a handful of threes today, and she's on the floor. So you've got height, you've got breadth. You do not have Iriofan on the floor. Dimitri is going to have the inbound pass. Agara and Brink stack lined up and the high post. Jump and the polo on the blocks. Far sideline inbound for Brooke Dimitri with Kennedy Brown on her. And Duke calls a timeout themselves. So again, we're going to do this one over. 71-71, 1.8 to go. Back-to-back timeouts called for the second time this game. Pausing for a break. Don't go anywhere, folks, on the KZSU Stanford Student Radio Network. Stanford women's basketball is headed to overtime against the Duke Blue Devils, looking to finish off one of their most arduous stretches of this young season. Both teams with 3 wins. Duke's only loss came last time out against Davidson. The 5 on the floor are Jump, Brink, Agara, Dimitri, and Lopolo. Brink in some serious foul trouble, ready to take the tip-off against her guard and counterpart Camila Emsbo. And Brink wins the tip, tips it to Lopolo. Stanford has it moving right to left. Slips it to Jump. Jump, chest high pass back to Lopolo on the right side. Still guarded by Mayer. Up top, Agara rotates left to Dimitri. Pass inside Brink. Brink trying to get underneath the near post. Right hand finish. Skitters off the rim. Rebound Agara. Agara, second chance. Trickles off the rim. Brink comes down with it. Loose rebound. Duke comes down with the basketball. Mayer going from right to left. Goes underneath. Flyby. Whistle and a travel. What a break. Okinawa traveled. She pump faked. A defender flew by. But a whistle and a violation renders that moot. 71 apiece in overtime. 4:33 to go. Inbound to Agara. Agara high arcing overhead pass back to Dimitri. So within the backcourt guarded by Thomas. Hands it off to Jump. Rotating from right to left across up top. Lopolo. Chest high pass to Dimitri. Whistle. And I believe a foul. That was underneath on Emsbo. And Cameron Brink will shoot a free throw. That's her 5th foul. 5th personal foul. Brink to the line again. She tied it up with a clean trip to the charity stripe to send us to overtime. Talking with the official, she and Dimitri and Agara are triangulated with Brink at the line. The Duke players are going over to talk with their head coach, Cara Lawson. And after that 5th foul, Kennedy Brown has to check in. She has not been nearly as effective as Emsbo in boxing out Brink or Irioffen, the latter of whom is currently seated 4 seats to the right of Tara Vanderveer on the Stanford bench. Brink, another deep breath. Toes on the free throw line. First shot up, and it scratches the paint off the iron a little bit as it falls through, but still a good make. 72-71. Every point adds up. Every free throw shot, every foul. Second shot up, and good. 4 straight free throws made for Brink. She continues to pour on points now with 23. Mayer with it. Tying to Mayer. Loose coverage by Nunu Agara, the auspicious young freshman against the veteran. Pass out left. Jackson, the playmaker, inside to the number 42, Kennedy Brown. With Brink on her, goes for the left-hand finish off the glass and in. Nice job by Kennedy Brown. Brink contesting, does wise to avoid the foul. Tie game at 73 apiece. Lopolo with the basketball. Thought about looking for Dimitri underneath. Instead, Agara up top. Pass wide, Lopolo. Lopolo rotates to Jump. Jump. Good closeout by Jackson on the 3. Now up top to Dimitri. Around the horn, Agara running out of time. Pass knocked out of bounds by Okinawa. Stanford with the basketball. 8 to shoot. 3:36 to go in the first overtime period. 73-73. There's your score. Lopolo to inbounds. Guarding point. Everybody in motion finds Brink. Brink fakes the handoff. Faces up on Brown. Whistle. And I believe a double dribble call. They say that Brink had her hand underneath. And a crucial turnover here. So Duke with the basketball moving left to right. Handing it off to Jackson. Jackson trying to get open. Whistle and a foul on Nunu Agara. So she's in some trouble. That's her 4th personal foul. She and Brink both have 4 personal fouls. That's the 4th team foul.
Kiki Irioffen has checked into the game.
Yes, so Irioffen will check in for Brink. Agara guarding Nair on the inbound. Finds Thomas, left wing, hands it back off to Nair. Nair off a screen from Brown. Fakes with Iriafinar, who decides to get it to Jackson. Jackson now to Brown, going underneath. The reverse, no good. She gets her own rebound. Right-hand finish, still no good. Tipped up in the air. A third chance to the points. This one tipped in by Thomas. Thomas again, a big basket. 75-73, Stanford trailing. Handed off to Dimitri. Dimitri gesturing out with her left hand, now gets to Lopolo on the left side. Iriafin just shy of the free throw line. Chest high pass out to Agara. Agara harassed by Okinawa. Now Iriafin Euro stepping down the lane, finishes left hand. Tie game. 75 apiece. 2:40 to go. Okinawa dribbling left on the wing. Gets another screen. She's going to face up. Instead, bounce pass inside. Iriafin goes down. She's hurt. Pass underneath, finishes up and in the foul. Iriafin jumps up and is limping off. Almost not even paying attention to the finish. Iriafin still limping. That's not good. Able to get off under her own power. But Bozgana checks in. Tara Vanderveer exchanging some words with her. She went down and seems to have slipped on something. So she went underneath and an and one. So Okinawa, a chance for a three-point play. That could be the backbreaker for Stanford. Here's the shot up, and it's good. Much more pressing concerns with Iriafin's potential injury. Dimitri finds Brink. Stanford down 3. 2:25 to go. Lopolo in the backcourt with Thomas guarding. Slips it to jump. Jump up top, Bozgana. Had a half second for a three. 18 to shoot. Whistle and a foul. And that's going to be, I believe, against Jackson. Jackson toppled to the floor. Brink shortly after followed suit. And that is against Ashlyn Jackson. Her first personal. Brink will head to the line. A chance to cut this deficit down. Only shooting 2. Stanford needs to get a stop for Duke's next possession. Brink setting the tone as she always does. 8 for 15 from the floor. 6 for 6 from the line. She needs to keep that trend going here. A deep breath. First shot up and good. The greatest players do all the little things right. Brink 7 for 7 from the line so far. Free throw number 8 is up and good. 78-77. Duke still leading. Mayer looking for Jackson. Out left. Gets it to her. Lopolo guarding. Floats inside Brown. Brown faces up. Fakes a pass up top Mayer. Mayer gets Bozgana to move by her. Floats it up off the front of the rim. Rebound Brink. Whistle and a jump ball. Duke has possession. How did that happen? Brink came down with it. It looked like she was in full control. And Mayer will inbound it. Brink had the rebound and was just trying to hold on to it. Inbound pass to Brown. Now Jackson. Jackson inside to Mayer. Mayer picks up her dribble. Pass out left. Whistle and a foul off the ball. And now Duke will go to the line. That was on Elena Bozgana. Her first personal comes at not the best time. 1:50 to go in overtime. And Kennedy Brown will shoot a pair. 6'6" senior. First shot up. Rims in and out. A big first miss. Now it's a question of can you get the rebound should she miss twice. Stanford down 1. Brown, free throw would make him down 2. 1:50 to go in the ball game. Second shot up. Skims the rim as it falls through. 79-77. Brink gets the inbound back to Dimitri. Dimitri being harassed by Okinawa. Cameron Brink finds Lopolo up top, calling out with her right hand, holding it with her left. Now Okinawa. No, bounce pass inside Brink. Brink trying to get inside on Brown. Off the glass and in. Brink bullies her way to the basket and cashes in on the deuce. 27 points for Cameron Brink. Tie game 79-79. 1:20 to go and counting. In the high post, it is Thomas. Made a couple of big buckets today. Mayer catches three-pointer off the heel. Rebound jump. Final minute. A big play could put this one on ice. Still ticking down. Dimitri for three. Off the front of the rim. Rebound. Bozgana knocked out of her hands. Whistle and a foul. Bozgana goes to the line. So we're going to have to see. Couldn't hear over the PA who the personal foul was on. Yes, it was on Okinawa. Her third personal foul. Clardy getting ready to spring into action off the scorer's table. Same with Kiki Iriafen. She's ready to go. To a rousing ovation from the Maple Pavilion crowd. She went down with an injury, but she's back. Bozgana shooting two. The lefty bounced the ball twice. First shot up. Off the heel. No good. 56.9 to go. Bozgana missed the first free throw. Can she get the second? Here's the shot up. And it rattles home. 80-79, a 1-point lead for Stanford. Chloe Clardy checks in. Bozgana checks out. Duke moving the basketball from left to right. Jackson, their most dynamic scoring threat. She's got 22 points. She has the basketball on the right wing. Chest side pass in air. Back to Jackson. Tipped away by Clardy and into the backcourt. Whistle and a change of possession here. They said it was a backcourt violation. So the officials ruled that instead of knocking it free, Jackson just lost control. So 80-79, Stanford can end this one with a three. Dimitri to inbound. Great defense from Clardy. Gives Stanford a chance. Inbound pass to Brink. Outside Lopolo, just inside half court with Mayer on her. Once again, waiting for a play to develop. Bozgana back in the game, back to Dimitri. Dimitri inside, outside Lopolo. Lopolo to Dimitri. Wide pass out to Bozgana, 17 to shoot. That one almost went out of bounds. Pass inside Brink. Brink to Lopolo. Lopolo for three! Off the heel. Rebound snatched down by Okinawa. Moving from left to right. Duke, chance to go ahead. Coast to coast, up and under. No good. Rebound by Dimitri. Dimitri still with it. They're not fouling. Final seconds. Ahead to Brink. Brink is fouled. And she knows it. That she has a chance with a couple of free throw shots to end this one. 80-79, Stanford already with the lead. And Cameron Brink, Stanford's most poised player in the field.
And if there's anyone you want to close out a game, it's Cameron Brink.
She can do just that. Gets the ball from the officials, spinning it in her hand, bouncing it twice. First shot up, and it skims the rim and in. One more. Even that won't do it. Not with the three-point shooting that Duke has displayed today, but you'd feel a lot better in the final 11 and 9/10 seconds. Brink's deep breath. Second shot up, skims the rim, and falls. Shooters bounce. Skipped off the front, skipped off the back. Timeout, Duke, 11, 9, 10 seconds ago. We'll be back in just a moment. Stanford so close to winning a thriller over the Duke Blue Devils. Back in just a moment on the KZSU Stanford Student Radio Network. Carson Trail, Aaron Yee with you from Maples Pavilion. We're up in the Crow's Nest, right across from the scoreboard that reads 82-79. Stanford leading in overtime with 11 and 9/10 seconds to go. Duke trying to engineer a three-point play, trying to set up very likely Ashlyn Jackson. They've been able to get her some good looks in crunch time this game, and that to this point has been the difference. Jackson has 22 points and 6 3-pointers. Number 7 would tie it. Taina Mayer to inbound. This 5'9" sophomore guard from Boston, Massachusetts. Lopolo, the official, trying to mandate a little bit more space. Lopolo giving her for the inbound. Iriafen, jump, and Clardy with Cameron Brink on the floor. Bounce pass inbound to Jackson. No surprise there. Clardy got a good possession off her last time. Instead, pass out left. Back to Jackson. Jackson up top. Long three-pointer off the front of the rim. Rebound loose on the floor. Ball game over. And Stanford wins a thriller, 82-79. Cameron Brink, a late emergence in this game, 29 points. Iriafen with 27. The electrifying duo carries the Stanford Cardinals to their 4th win and to continue their undefeated season thus far. That's win number 1,190 for Tara Vanderveer. She keeps climbing up the all-time list against Duke's very own Coach K, who is a living legend. Tara Vanderveer, certainly one in her own right. And Stanford wins just an electrifying victory in front of the crowd at Maples.
What a game. And it's a packed crowd at Maples here today. Everybody leaving very happy now, but what a game. It started off very dominant on Stanford's end. Then you saw Duke gain a lot of their momentum going into the second quarter and then taking their first lead late in the third quarter and having to send the game into overtime.
Thank you so much, Beth. Welcome into the studio. Elle Duncan alongside the Hall of Famer and Rebecca Lobo. We just heard Beth mention 8 of the preseason top 10 have fallen, but Stanford said not today. They were in cruise control, hold on to a 17-point lead. How did Duke force overtime here?
Well, first of all, Stanford did such a great job in that first quarter building that lead, scoring 30 points. And Duke's defense kind of dug in, holding Stanford to only 10 points in the third quarter. And they couldn't necessarily compete in the paint. That's where Stanford is so good with both Cameron Brink and Kiki Iriafen. They were taking control inside, but Duke was able to hit the threes, in particular in that fourth quarter. And Kara Lawson has talked about how much better her team is when they play with pace and can really push the ball down the floor. They did that better in the second half. And even when they lost their last game to Davidson, Kara was saying, you know, we got good shots. We just weren't able to make them. Well, in particular, in that third and fourth quarter, Duke was making their shots from the perimeter.
Yeah, we certainly saw them going toe-to-toe down the stretch there. And we saw or heard Beth mention there on the broadcast as well at one point in the fourth quarter on the final stretch. They had more three-point field goals made than they had two-pointers. A little surprising for you there that Duke was able to pull that out offensively?
Especially a young team in a tough environment against a team that does have a lot of experience. They showed tremendous poise. You heard both Beth and Carolyn talking about that at the end of the game, that their freshmen did not look like freshmen for most of the game, especially in a tough environment. Duke has to feel not great about the outcome of the game, but they performed really well in this one.
You know, you've accomplished some pretty incredible feats. How about Cameron Brink being flawless from the free throw line since, what, last March? Incredible.
Yeah, not very many people have done that.
Yeah, I can't imagine that good. And as you mentioned, right, like not a particularly great free throw shooter to the beginning of her career, making a little bit of history. So there it is. Stanford outlast Duke. We get it back out to Stanford with Beth and CP, who are joined by Cameron Brink.
And we welcome you back courtside here at Maples Pavilion. Huge second half for Cameron Brink on the day. Cameron, your plus minus is 22.
Oh, perfect.
And you sit down shaking a little bit. Tell us about the drama there to close this out.
Shoot, Duke's an amazing team. You know, they're coached by amazing coaches, and they're tough. So, you know, it's a little appetizer for the ACC next year. But, you know, just thankful for the work I put in the offseason, free throws, and my team. You know, we are dogs, and I'm so proud of Kiki and Talana. Like, we're such a young young team, so we really came out here and we stuck it out. I don't know. I'm thankful.
Well, and how were you able to do that? Because you were in a bit of some foul trouble to keep your composure to be able to stay in the game.
Yeah, I think, it's a good thing. I'm just continuing to learn how to play through foul trouble. So, that's just the trust Tara has in me, and I'm thankful for her. We trust each other.
And then Kiki Ariafen, how she started the game, the dominance, and how relieved were you to see her when she went down, able to come back in the game?
I know, yeah, she just cramped, thank goodness. But I know, like, Kiki's my twin. Like, she goes in, I'm out. I'm not worried at all. Like, we have that trust in each other, and she's just a dog. Like, I'll pass it into her. I know it's going in. So she's just amazing, and the improvement she's made over, the off season has been astounding.
So you had been sitting a while there at the end of the third quarter, and then coming on in the fourth quarter. It was a massive one for you. And how do you decide that, okay, now it's my time to really start leading this young team?
I think it was Tara really just telling me, like, hey, you need to put us on your back. So, I went in and I did that. And my teammates, they found me. They gave me so many amazing entry passes. So I'm just thankful for them.
How important is it for you all to pull out, really, this was a gut-wrenching game in November with understanding what your goals are for this season?
Our goals are to go the whole way. So I think we're just really proud. Like, it's just a great game to get underneath our belts, and just it's really great experience for me, but also the young players. Chloe came in and did amazing. Nunu, Courtney, literally all our freshmen had a huge impact on the game today.
Well, on a total side note, the streak is now at 72. Were any of them as close as that last one? That last free throw?
How many times did it bounce
around? And the relief that this goes in, the streak is alive. Yeah. And the record you're now 3 shy of. Congratulations on the big win today, and best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations.
I need a nap now.
As do we. And it's just the start of Feast Week, everybody. We hope you've enjoyed it. A thriller this afternoon here at Maples Pavilion. For Stanford and Duke, Carolyn Peck, our entire crew, I'm Beth Owens. Thanks so much for being with us. Have a great week, everybody, and happy Thanksgiving as we get you back to the studio with Elle and Rebecca.
Thank you so much, Beth. What an appetizer for Feast Week. A fantastic game there that we heard Beth mention at one point will be an all-ACC matchup. But for now, the Pac-12 holds on and wins.
Last portion of our post-game wrap from Maples Pavilion, 82-79 Stanford women's basketball with, just such an exciting finish. An overtime tie game. It really felt like a similar, it felt similar to South Carolina last year. And that's just credit to Duke in such a tough portion of their schedule. 4 games in 8 days, able to take one of the top teams nationwide to overtime and really give them a run for their money.
Absolutely, and they have a bright future ahead of them. As we mentioned during the pregame conversation, their coach, Carl Lawson, has done a really great job of turning their program into something special. So excited to see how their season pans out as well.
Let's take a look at our player of the game today. Who else but Cameron Brink? 29 points, including a perfect 10-for-10 trip from the free throw line, 11 rebounds, 6 blocks and a steal, and 3 assists. So just video game numbers from Cameron Brink. Kiki Iriafen, an outstanding performance in her own right, 27 points, 9 for 12 free throws. Just a force out inside the paint, 9 rebounds, and 1 assist.
Yeah, and it was great to see Cameron Brink really come in and step up when they needed her most, get those free throws when they were critical. She also was in foul trouble. We were really worried about her getting into foul trouble and having to foul out, but she stayed clean towards the end of that game, finished with 4 personal fouls, and as we mentioned, just insane numbers that were able to send Stanford into a win.
Hannah Jump, 15 points of her own, including 5 3-pointers, and strictly limited to. All but 2 of her shots were from outside the paint. She finishes shooting 50%, 5 for 10.
The freshman Nunu Agara led the team in assists with 4. She's been great throughout this season and has played a critical piece. Aside from those big 3, Jump, Iriafen, and Brink, it's nice to see freshmen also playing a role in helping this team develop.
Yeah, we're going to watch her career with great interest. Well, thanks very much for joining us. We are going to pass things off to the rest of the station. This is KZSU Stanford 90.1 FM, your non-commercial Cardinal sports leader and your Stanford student Radio Network. So long for Maples. I'm Carson Trail.
And I'm Erin Yee.
We will see you next time for more Cardinal women's basketball on the radio.